Well, hello everyone. Happy Thursday. It is digital host AJ Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I take you through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching today, whether that is on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Thursday afternoon with me here before our evening newscasts. Welcome. We have a lot to get into today, so I think it is about that time we just start things off. And of course, starting things off with some breaking news out of Huntsville. Authorities say they are currently working a shooting on Benford Drive. Huntsville police say the victim has been taken to Huntsville Hospital where they are currently being treated. Police say the call came in around 2 this afternoon. Now, this is all the information we have at this time on this situation, but make sure to stick around for our evening newscast for updates. And now in Florence, where a fast food manager is facing several charges after alleged sex crimes with a teenaged female worker. Now, according to the court documents attained by 48 News earlier, 38-year-old Garrett Wilkins, that is who you see on screen, he was arrested in Salt Lake City, Utah last week by U.S. Marshals, and he was later transported back to Florence. Wilkins is now facing 17 felony charges, which include 6 counts of possession of child porn, 2 counts of transmitting obscene material to a child, second-degree sexual abuse, and enticing a child to enter a vehicle for immoral purposes. Wilkins was booked into the Lauderdale County Jail on a $606,000 bond. And 48's Aria Pons will have more on this situation coming up in our evening newscast, so make sure you stick around. But now we are learning that a former reporter at our sister station in Columbus, this is Columbus, Georgia, has sadly passed away. Chauncey Glover, who you see on screen, was originally from Athens, Alabama. Glover began his career at WTVM in 2007 after graduating from Troy University. In his career, he worked in several markets, including Columbus, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, Detroit, Michigan, Houston, Texas, and finally, at the end of his career, Los Angeles, California. Glover had a very decorated career in journalism as a 3-time Emmy Award winner. He was only 39. Now, the cause of his death has not yet been released, but my thoughts are certainly with his family. And now another story in Athens, where residents in a historically black neighborhood are saying the city is not doing enough to combat sewage issues going on in the neighborhood. The issue impacts people living along Strain Road and Luke Street near I-65. Several residents voiced their concerns to the Athens City Council last week, asking the city to begin work on upgrading their sewer systems. And 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy recently spoke with Athens Mayor Ronnie Marks on the situation, and take a listen to what he had to say.
We're down the street at a lower end of that street. Say, yes, I've got groundwater that drains into my septic tank, and when it rains heavy, yes, I have sewer problems. And some of them said, yes, it backs up in my bathtub. Well, that needs to be resolved. I mean, you can't have health issues like that in our community.
Well, thank you, Sarah Grace. And now I say it is about time to take a look at the latest weather forecast. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis with the latest. How's it looking today, Brad?
A nice day, AJ, but man, it's warm. It's muggy. As we get into the weekend, especially Saturday, starting to see a better chance of rain behind me, but there's nothing out there today. And tomorrow, I don't think we see much rain either. That chance of rain has really been dropping the last few days. Live view of Huntsville, a little hazy out there. Traffic's in pretty good shape down below right now on 565. And current temperatures, we are overachieving. 82 in Huntsville, 80 in Athens. We will likely see the low 80s again tomorrow. Over the next 12 hours, probably not as much fog as we had this morning, but it's still a possibility overnight with those light northeast winds. Over the next 3 days, 80 tomorrow, 75 Saturday, and 70 Sunday. We do expect more widespread showers, especially Saturday morning. Here's 6 o'clock in the evening Friday. And I've got the wind gusts on here because they're going to be gusting to near 30 miles an hour by late Saturday evening, but not much to deal with tomorrow. Here's your Saturday morning. A cloudy start, scattered light to moderate showers, slowly moving from the southwest to the northeast, and it may stall out a bit, especially west of I-65, where we start to get these wind gusts around 30 miles an hour Saturday evening. As we go on into Sunday morning, notice the pattern doesn't shift east very much at all, and we still have rain. So widespread rain is really going to be a factor here as we go into the shoals for both days this weekend. But overall, continue to keep track of the main part of the weekend for that chance for showers. And overall, I don't see a big thunderstorm threat out there. And if you're going to be traveling from Huntsville International the next few days, weather in the morning's not bad. Weather in the evening's not bad either.
Well, thank you, Brad. And let's now turn it over to 48's Gina Benitez. Now for a look into who Huntsville police need your help stopping this week.
This week, Huntsville police are looking for a beer thief, and this guy didn't just steal once. Cops say he came back to the same store the same day to steal beer again. This happened early last month. Police say this guy walked into the Target on University Drive and stole 5 cases of Bud Light. Then a few hours later, they say he walked back into the same store and stole more cases of beer. They say he drove off in an older model Cadillac. If you recognize him and can point police in the right direction, call them. Take a good look at Jeremy Lemon. Police say he stole a laptop from a local business and then tried to sell it on eBay. He's wanted for theft of property. Mervin Alaniz Santiago is charged with theft of property. Police say he cashed more than $16,000 worth of forged checks at a local bank. Investigators say Jack Macklin burglarized an apartment and stole a TV. He's wanted for burglary. Timothy Hicks is accused of stealing a generator out of a truck at a local business. He's wanted for unlawful breaking and entering into an automobile. And Jorge Omar Julian Martinez is wanted for aggravated assault. Police say he was speeding in a parking lot and then hit a pedestrian and then took off. It's easy to earn up to $1,000. If you have information that can help police, just call 256-53-CRIME or add a tip to P3 Tips. That's an app you can download from the App Store. You can also text or email your tips. For more information, visit the Crime Stoppers link on our website. That is WAFF.com.
Well, thank you, Gina. And now a story in case you missed it. It's now been 1 year since then 10-year-old Kaysen McClung was shot trying to protect his mother during a murder-suicide. Unfortunately, McClung's mother was shot and killed during the attack. But it doesn't change the fact that young McClung is truly a hero. Yesterday, 48's Aria Pons followed up with the McClung family 1 year later. And take a listen to how they're doing.
The McClung family described Ashley McClung as strong, kind, and an amazing mother. Now, a year later, they're still learning how to live without her. The McClung family takes it one day at a time.
This year's flu. We've been so busy, you haven't even had time to think.
The family says they're still reeling after losing someone so close to their hearts. Last October, Ashley McClung was tragically shot and killed by her boyfriend. The 1 year anniversary of her death crept up with no warning.
It was rough, but he had a good day. His teachers made sure it was a good day.
Really just, they made sure I was just regular and stuff. Made sure I wasn't down or anything.
Billy McClung, Kaysen's father, had to go on a work trip, so the family was separated during the anniversary. But Billy says he is so thankful for Kaysen's school for being there for him, adding that they miss her every day.
We had to go down to the other side of Tampa this past week to work hurricane damage. And I didn't even realize what week it was until I got down there and I seen what day it was coming up on, and I was a mess down there.
Billy says they're still putting the pieces of their life back together. Kaysen is back in school, surrounded by his friends. He's made straight A's on his report card so far, and he took up playing baseball. Kaysen says he really wants to thank his community and friends who have been there for him over this year.
Just to say thanks for all the stuff that my community's done and stuff, and all my friends and stuff.
Community members have continuously showed their love and support to the family. Even those outside of the community have reached out to check on the family. Some celebrities from Buck Commander actually invited Kaysen to a Thanksgiving hunting trip, knowing how dearly Kaysen loves hunting. Reporting in Colbert County, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Well, thank you, Aria. Such a tough kid, without a doubt. Now moving over to Marshall County, where voters on Tuesday decided to turn the county wet. 48 Savannah Sapp with what this now means for Marshall County residents and business owners.
Marshall County voters have spoken. Alcohol sales are now permitted countywide. This includes unincorporated communities. Small business owners are rejoicing at the decision. Troy Hopkins is the owner of Retreat Resort and Spa, a vacation destination nestled just between Guntersville and Scottsboro. He says since they've opened in 2022, he's received loads of questions about spirits from guests.
Every day we have guests that say, where do I got to go to get my wine or my alcohol? And really, 10 minutes down the road each direction, they have to drive to get that and come back.
Hopkins and other staff at the retreat have been proponents of Amendment 1 since their opening, hoping the legalization would help grow their business. He says now the resort can offer alcohol packages to guests and play home to new opportunities and events for other businesses.
But now we can attract more companies that come to us, but that whole thing's extra revenue generation, which really brings extra tax money to the community for our schools and everything. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And in preparation for the vote, Hopkins and his team have already taken steps to get the ball rolling for serving spirits. 6 months we actually built a bar that's been sitting vacant now for 6 months, waiting for this to pass. It's called the Leafy Lounge. And pretty soon, once we get all of our licenses and permits, our guests can enjoy a drink while they check in or come down for a meal and enjoy a drink. In Marshall County, Savannah Sapp, 48 on your side.
Thank you, Savannah. And now in some national politics, a day after former President Trump won back the White House, President Biden weighed in on the 2024 election. He spoke briefly about his conversation with the president-elect and reflected on the race his vice president, Kamala Harris, ran. NBC's Jay Gray with more from Washington.
Hey there, good afternoon, and much of the discussion across the country, and especially here in Washington, continues to be on Tuesday's election results and the pending second administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Today, we heard from President Joe Biden weighing in from the Rose Garden at the White House, talking about making sure that the traditions and all of the things that come with a transfer of power are continued. He said that he's already invited President-elect Trump for a meeting at the White House. We've often seen the outgoing and incoming president meet at the White House, though we did not in 2020. Then President Trump did not invite then President-elect Biden to the White House, did not go to the inauguration either. But for the White House, for the Biden administration, they say it is very important to continue these traditions, make sure there is a smooth and peaceful transfer of power.
I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something that I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature.
The president also took time to praise his vice president, Kamala Harris, talk about her character, her heart, said that she ran a great race against President-elect Trump. He also touched on his priorities for the last 10 weeks in office and said that there is still work to be done before all of this is over. That is the latest from here in Washington as we continue to watch as things unfold. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Well, thank you, Jay. Staying in politics, a story in case you missed it yesterday from 48's Nick Ballinger. Yesterday, Nick spoke with Decatur immigration attorney Kimberly Fasking, who says she is doubtful of the president-elect's immigration plan. Take a look.
November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America.
Donald Trump's Liberation Day has come and gone, so what's next for the president-elect? Specifically, what happens on day one.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in the history of our country.
Decatur immigration attorney Kimberly Fasking has doubts about his promise.
You know, day one, he's not going to be deporting 11 million people, right, realistically. So what he's not going to be able to do is just round up a bunch of people that don't have documents and kick them across the border.
According to the Government Accountability Office, more than 2 million asylum and deportation cases are pending right now in U.S. immigration courts. Fasking says any deportation program would continue to involve the court system.
Those folks, if they have criminal records and they already have an order of removal, they're going to be fairly easy to remove from the country. But if folks don't have an order of removal, it's going to take some time. It's already backlogged and it already takes several years, so he's going to be adding to that backlog.
One of her main concerns is the large number of Haitian migrants in the area. We reported back in August, Haitian immigrants are living legally in Alabama on a federal work program, a program that Trump could easily pull.
Hopefully they've already applied for something. If some of them have already applied, maybe they have a family member who can petition for them, something like that, then they'll have an opportunity to remain in the country while those petitions or while those applications sort of work themselves out.
Well, thank you, Nick. In state news, 2 words, Space Command. Will it be moving to Alabama from Colorado now with Donald Trump set to take back the White House? WSFA's Julia Avant with more details.
Alabama, in my opinion, is the aerospace and defense capital of the world. And with this council, we're going to make sure we keep it that way.
Aerospace and defense is a $70 billion industry in Alabama, and this new council is made of representatives of that industry. They'll start meeting in the new year and advocate for new legislation.
Well, I can tell you one of the first things I'm going to encourage this council to do is to push hard to get Space Command back to Alabama. I think that was one of the worst things I saw in politics.
U.S. Space Command is currently located in Colorado, but Alabama has lobbied to have it moved to the Huntsville area. According to Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, Huntsville has more engineers per capita than any other city in the world, while Mobile is considered the 4th largest aerospace producer in the world. Council members plan to keep this momentum going with recruiting.
I think we'd like to see a lot more people get involved, both businesses and people, and frankly students, right? We got to grow up the next generation of people to work these jobs in Alabama.
There are already 300 aerospace and defense companies in Alabama, and the council hopes to entice even more to relocate in the state. In Montgomery, I'm Julia Avant, WSFA 12 News.
Thank you, Julia. And now, if you like wrestling and a nice brew every now and then, WWE superstar Hulk Hogan is coming to Huntsville tomorrow to promote Real American Beer, a new line of beer that he co-founded. Hogan will make stops at Liquid Express on University, Windmill Beverage in Owens Crossroads, Twin Peaks on University, and Furniture Factory and Grill on Meridian. You can find the full schedule on our website along with the times to each stop. And WAFF.com, that will be your site to see all those details. But take a listen to him yesterday down south in Daphne, Alabama.
Being here in Alabama is like a throwback because I started here wrestling at the Dothan Farm Center, Birmingham, all over the place, even northern Florida, Pensacola, and had a referee come through today that 40 years ago, he was counting a 3 count when I was wrestling somebody. He goes, I got upset and I was going to the Memphis territory. He goes, when I knew you were packing your bag up, you were going to be a star. So I was so blown away.
Heck yeah, super cool. And now, of course, as part of Veterans Week here, the Veterans Day Parade is coming up this Monday in downtown Huntsville. Yesterday, I spoke with veterans and Veterans Day Parade committee members, John Perry and Todd Royer, on the annual event, and take a listen to some of the things that will be at the annual parade this year.
The parade is actually going to start at the Veterans Memorial downtown. And that is where the reviewing officer is going to have the reviewing stand. And then also, for those that want to come down, Channel 48 is going to be broadcasting live from that location.
Yes, sir. A 2-hour live stream, I believe.
2-hour
Yes,
live
sir.
stream, yes, sir. Let me
sir.
add one more. The North Alabama Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association have a Huey that they bring in. The Huey is named Buck 3. Those are the call letters on it. And that Huey actually flew in Vietnam.
Really?
Yep. So, and it'll be in the parade.
Wow. How did that get here?
Actually, it got picked up by the museum, the Veterans Museum on South Parkway.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Vietnam veteran helicopter pilots and crew chiefs got together. They restored it, and they almost had it ready to fly, but I guess, I don't know, people said they couldn't fly it. So it's being trailered, but it is authentic. Everything right down to the details. It's awesome, and it will be in the entire parade, so everyone will get a chance to see it.
You've touched on it a little bit. Could you speak a bit on the veteran community here in Huntsville and how much holding events like the Veterans Day Parade means to them?
Certainly. Well, first of all, I think we're absolutely blessed to have this community. The community welcomes all veterans with open arms.
That's right.
In multiple different ways and opportunities. Definitely out of proportion to what you maybe see in other type of communities. So I think that's probably the first and foremost. The second thing is I think you'll find that a lot of veterans like to retire here. Huntsville is a hidden gem.
It is.
And it is just a phenomenal place to go. Not only my own personal story of retiring here out of Redstone Arsenal, but you find a lot of other military members will want to come here really for two factors. Obviously, there is a little bit of job opportunity here from the Huntsville area. But secondly, it's really the lifestyle that's here, right? It's the community involvement, it's the friendliness. And so those two factors really make Huntsville a haven for folks that are getting out of service.
Yes. Sounds like it's going to be an incredible event, and you can watch that 2-hour live stream on Monday starting at 11:11 a.m. wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. Now, of course, you might want to go to the parade yourself. It sounds like it is going to be an awesome time, but yes, great talking to them yesterday. That was an incredible interview. And you can watch that full 48 Now interview on our website, WAFF.com. You'll go to digital shows and then finally 48 Now. But now let's turn over to sports. The first round of the high school football playoffs start tonight with 2 North Alabama games going on tonight. Those 2 games are, of course, Ohatchee taking on those red-hot Fife Red Devils, and Susan Moore taking on Decatur Heritage. And of course, the remainder of the games will be going on tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in to the 48 Blitz preview show to hear from 48 Sports Director Carl Prather for a look into this first round. That will be streamed wherever you're watching Before the Four right now, tonight at 7:20. And make sure to keep watching for the end to catch the latest episode of Beyond the Lights Athens. You're just not going to want to miss it. It is going to be epic, and I cannot believe it is already playoff season now. I remember just yesterday it felt like it was week 0. And man, time definitely flies by when you're having fun. No doubt about it. But now let's turn over this way. It is time for the good side. A village of tiny houses meant for people experiencing homelessness takes shape at a church in Alaska. Local News Live correspondent Lauren Maxwell tells us all about it.
When Julie Green Graham sees construction taking place in the parking lot of Central Lutheran Church, she's in awe.
I just got shivers.
What was only a dream a year ago is coming together fast.
It's really going to happen, you know? It's like, oh my gosh.
Green Graham is chairman of the nonprofit In Our Backyard, which nearly finished assembling 6 tiny houses for seniors experiencing homelessness.
It's about time we finally got together and did something about it.
With lots of volunteers at work, the hope is residents will be able to move in early November. But there's one thing to know about these tiny houses. They're pretty tiny. Most of them are 8 by 8, just big enough for a bed, a small refrigerator, microwave, and a few shelves. They're meant to provide temporary shelter of 6 to 9 months while people search for permanent housing. So far, the project hasn't gotten much pushback from the community.
I think in general they're positive about it.
Shirley Struess is a volunteer who lives just a couple blocks away. She says neighbors were rightly concerned about a homeless camp adjoining church property that was abated this summer, but thinks this small project will be different.
It's going to have support. It's being monitored. There's more activity here.
Green Graham knows the tiny home community will come under scrutiny, but hopefully with a positive outcome.
People care and they want to do something positive to make a difference.
She says there are a lot of folks who are banking on its success. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Awesome stuff there. And now it is time to head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. Racist and hateful messages being sent to kids here in the state of Alabama. 48's Daquan Lee has been looking into that today, and he'll have more for you all coming up. Another story you're just not going to want to miss, the latest on Huntsville Hospital and United Healthcare cutting ties. 48's Callie Neese will have that story coming up. And finally, an update on the new UAH stadium. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is about that time. What time is it, I wonder? It is time for Facebook fun. That is right. In our 48 Facebook question of the day today, what are your Thanksgiving dinner must-haves? There are so many. It is one of my favorite holidays, of course, Thanksgiving, because, I mean, all you have to do is eat turkey, eat, and sit on the couch and watch football. I mean, what is better than that? It's just the greatest. I mean, it's the best holiday ever. But what I want to know is what all of you had to say for our 48 Facebook question of the day. And let's take a look. Rita said cranberry sauce, brown and serve hot buttered rolls, which are hard to find now. Oh, that sounds delightful. That sounds like what I'm talking about when I say a good Thanksgiving dinner. That is for sure. Rita, thank you so much for commenting. Let's see what else you all had to say. Mike Billup said Dallas Cowboys on the TV. Am I right, guys? That is 100% true. If my dad is watching right now, he knows about that. He is a Dallas Cowboy fan. And then, of course, the other team that always plays on Thanksgiving, the Detroit Lions. I think he's hopping on the Lions bandwagon right now, last I've heard, instead of the Cowboys. They're not doing too well. But, Mike, hopefully your Cowboys get a win Thanksgiving. It should be exciting. Thank you so much for commenting. Wilma said family. Absolutely. You have to have your family with you. That is what makes Thanksgiving, of course. Wilma, thank you so much for commenting. Tammy said turkey, dressing, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Tammy, thank you so much for commenting. And then let's see. Rachel Jackson said gravy, stuffing, and the turkey. Gotta have the turkey. It is always turkey time on Thanksgiving. You gotta fry them up. That is 100% true. Rachel, thank you so much for commenting. And that is about all she wrote for today's Before the Four. But I want to thank you all for sticking around with me, spending a bit of your Thursday afternoon here on Before the Four. Wherever you're watching, thank you so much. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and of course, the 48 Sport Zone app. Turn on those push notifications and you will never miss a breaking story. But with that said, that is about it. And as always, I have to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.